Hey, Chandler Bolt here, and in this video I want to talk to you about how do you figure out which book to read next, right? If you're anything like me, you've got kind of like this big old read list, or I think I just heard this new term recently, TBR, to be read list, and maybe that list just keeps stacking and stacking and stacking, either of the books that you're about to buy, or if you're like me, the books that you've already bought and you just haven't read yet. They just keep piling up, kind of like this bookshelf right here. So how do you figure out strategically which book to read next? And first things first, I think this is one of the biggest mistakes that people make, is they're not strategic about what they're reading. Obviously, if the purpose of your reading is entertainment, that's totally fine. But if the purpose of your reading is to get better, to learn, to develop, to grow your knowledge, right? Then you need to be strategic about what you're reading and when you're reading it. And so this is just something, as you can see here, I mean, I've got a lot of books here. I read about a book a week. So that, you know, is about 52 books a year. So over the course of years, that's hundreds of books. So naturally, a lot of people come to me for book recommendations. Now, the first question that I ask them, and the question I'm going to say that you should ask is, what area of your life are you trying to grow? Or what's a single skill that you're trying to learn? Or where are you trying to get better? What's the biggest bottleneck in your business? You know, kind of what are those focusing questions? And it all kind of leads up to, what area of your life are you trying to get better? So that's the question that you need to ask. And then also, is this going to benefit me or help my business in the next 30 days? I'm not a big fan of doing reading for a later date. I'm a big fan of doing just-in-time reading, right? So I want the ratio, or the speed with which from reading to implementation, I want that to be very, very fast. Right? So I'm looking for what book is going to solve the problem that I have right now. What's the skill that I want to grow in? So let's kind of give some examples here, right? So for 2017, my big focus was getting better as a leader. That was all. I've kind of had this come to Jesus moment towards the end of 2016 where I said, hey, leadership is the single greatest skill that's kind of getting in the way of my growth as a business owner and as an entrepreneur, right? So I need to fix that. So for all of 2017, I read a ton of leadership books. And so I'll kind of go in two spurts. I'll solve the right now problem and maybe do one book, or I'll go deep. Right? So if I need to learn sales, like recently I hired a bunch of salespeople, now I need to learn sales management, right? So for 3 months, I just read every sales management book that I could find. So I'll go all in on that one topic, and then obviously sometimes sprinkling in a change of pace, just so I don't get bored with reading about the same types of things. So whenever you're coming to the kind of the crossroads of what book should I read next, I encourage you to ask these two questions. Number one, what skill or area of my life am I trying to grow in? What's most important that I learn right now? And then number two, is this going to be something that I can implement or action in the next 30 days or just in time as I read this, okay? So ask those questions. I think you'll be much more strategic in the books that you buy and the books that you read. And also, if you come to me asking for a book recommendation, I got tons of them, but I can't give you a recommendation if I don't know the answer to that question, right? If I do know the answer to that question, I can give really great recommendations. So can the people around you. So ask those questions and happy reading. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. See ya.